Chad, we finally got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles we've been waiting for.
My man.
My man.
Hello, and welcome to Chad and Wes Ruin a Movie. If you'd like to contact us, you can get us at chadandwes@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, you can also follow us on SoundCloud or subscribe on iTunes and leave us a review. If you'd like more information, go to chadandwes.com.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chad and Wes Ruin a Movie. This is Wes.
And this is Chad.
Oh man, have we got a treat for you? I can't even. It's not even happening.
Wes, why you gotta be so negative? I thought everybody loved everybody.
Everybody might love everybody, but everybody's gonna hate this flaming turd.
Yeah. So we're here today, if you didn't notice from the title or any of that other stuff, we're here to talk about the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows. Kinda. And yeah, well, I mean, if you can't tell, like, if you have not heard already, this is not the best movie in the world. But we're going to talk about it and kind of get into some of the finer details. But obviously, spoiler alert, like any of these other Ruin a Movie episodes we have, if you haven't seen the movie yet, go see it, I guess, or wait to watch this episode till it comes out on Netflix and you don't really have to pay anything extra to see it.
Or you can go read the Wikipedia page that explains the plot and then just come watch this.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. But let's just launch right into it. You want to start with rating or end with rating? It's going to be bad either way.
Yeah, we'll end with rating.
All right.
I know what mine is right now. We'll see if the more I talk, if it gets worse or better.
Can it get worse?
Maybe.
Anyway, so all right, then let's start with what was your? We'll start with the hardest question. What was your favorite moment from the movie?
So here's the deal. I don't think I can pick a moment, just because any moment that began to be something was immediately destroyed by either words or images on the screen, depending on what it was.
I can understand that.
Yeah. The best part of this movie may also be one of the worst parts of the movie is the fact that I do feel like this movie could have been salvaged if the right people had seen a cut before they were ready to start pressing it, so to speak. There were plenty of elements that I thought could have worked. The Turtles, for example. Honestly, the Turtles are probably the least worst part of the movie.
Okay.
At least in my opinion. Some of the things they did, whatever, the dialogue and things like that.
The writing of this movie was terrible.
Yeah, but the characterization of the Turtles I thought was fine. Mm-hmm. The visuals of the Turtles I thought was fine. So I think there were lots of things. I think the actors, with the exception of probably Megan Fox, I think could have been fine for the movie.
Yeah.
I think if they had someone come in and write a really great script, kept the jokes not highbrow, but less obvious, and like they weren't trying for it so much.
And not
more natural.
So constant.
Yeah, that's a constant. Good Lord.
We're getting into like our problems with it. So
I know. Sorry.
See if you can get to the part where it was the good thing in the movie.
Yeah. But okay, so really just looking at it, and I'm sitting there watching it, and it's like, this could have been good. There are elements in it.
Your favorite part of the movie was its potential.
I mean, it's not wrong.
I can understand that.
Yeah. I will say there were a couple of really cool moments from my childhood that I like seeing. So I like seeing the turtle van. That was a cool thing.
Or turtle dumpster, whatever.
Or turtle trash truck.
It's fitting because this movie was, as you said, a dumpster fire.
Yep. Teenage Mutant Turtles 2, the dumpster fire. Seeing Kraang was cool.
Once again, there was the potential. What it could have been was better than the execution.
I'm going to the potential.
Yeah.
I thought the Shredder suit in this one, for the 5 seconds we got to see it,
finally
was better.
In the movie when he was fully decked out.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot more of the old 90s Turtles movies. So, yeah.
If you don't have anything you can identify, I'll identify two things. How about that?
Yeah. Oh, one other thing. I liked the relationship between the Turtles and New York. like Spider-Man has an obvious relationship with the city of New York. Like he has that. I don't want to keep using the word relationship, but it's New York is kind of like Gotham City. Like it's a character in and of itself.
Sure.
So, and that's one of the things that's always been great about the Ninja Turtles is that they take place in New York City, and there are always these recognizable things about New York that are going on, and so it feels a lot more like it's taking place in the real world. And I thought they did that fine. I can't use the word good.
So let me say this.
You go ahead.
I thought the Foot Clan was better in this than in the first one. I think they did a good job of having an actual thing that felt like the Foot Clan. Because in the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of this recent series, I don't feel like they really felt like the Foot Clan to me.
Right. And the brief shot we had of them in the bar, they were actually dressed up like the Foot Clan.
Yeah. So that was like a good thing. Once again, it does not redeem the shit of this movie, but there was that. And so that was fun. Honestly, like one of my favorite things from the very first live action Ninja Turtles movie was the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
Like seeing the interaction of all them. And I think what you said about, the turtles themselves, I think they did a decent job of maybe making them more clearly defined than they did in the first one.
They didn't seem quite as dark in this one.
Yeah.
Which, again, I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah.
If that's the direction you're going to take the movie, that's fine, because most people know the original Ninja Turtles comic was very dark. In fact, I think the original was black and white, but, so it was nowhere near the campiness of the
so dark,
cartoon.
it only had 2 colors.
That's right.
It had shades, in fact, no color, no. Yeah, so, but I'll go with that as, the things. So let's jump into what's your biggest problem with the movie. This will be hopefully easier to define, or is it's all so bad it's hard to define one thing.
There is a lot of bad, and this may be a little broad because again, with both of these questions, I can't really pinpoint a specific scene or thing to point to, but one of my biggest problems is the convenience of it all. So there are many things that they decided to explain away.
It's almost always Donatello, too.
Yeah.
It was always him that just was like, here's the convenient thing that I'm just going to jump to a conclusion about.
Yeah. Like, so Bebop and Rocksteady, they just give them this stuff and they happen to turn into 2 different animals. And so they honestly probably could have just left it alone. And sure, it wouldn't have been great that they didn't explain it, but it would have been better than how they did explain it, which was every human has some kind of genome from an animal inside of them.
And different, all the animals, apparently. Like, who knows what animal you'll become.
Yeah.
And check this out. Even before that, same scene. Shredder hands freaking Dr. What's his nuts this alien artifact, and he looks at it, walks right over to a machine that's perfectly purpose-built for exactly what needs to happen to the thing.
Yeah.
It was the most ridiculous thing. I was like, dude, give me a freaking montage at least. Make me think he at least took half an hour to build this thing or something.
In 30 seconds, he goes from not having this ooze at all to now having 2 creatures that he's produced because of it.
Yeah.
That came out of this machine that he just happened to already have that work.
It was
with it.
so ridiculous.
Yeah. There was that, the whole, oh my God, Kraang. So the introduction of Kraang was terrible. Shredder gets sucked into this other dimension, and he just pops up. Kraang already knows who Shredder is, and he just is like, hey, you're going to do this, and explains this deal, and then sends him back.
And Shredder's like, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Like, apparently Shredder has no spine, no personal motivations, or, like, apprehension at all to this thing that's bossing him around when he's, like, used to running the show. I was like, you serious?
Yeah.
This is just going to happen?
And again, good actor. I can't remember the guy's name, but I've seen him in other things before.
Right.
And honestly, he didn't really do anything terrible in the movie as far as the acting goes. They just didn't give him anything to do. And in fact, another problem, Shredder is super disposable in this.
Yep. I don't feel like he got any of the weight he deserved.
Yeah, I mean, it's Shredder. He's their villain. That'd be like having a Batman solo film with the Joker, and the Joker's in it for 10 minutes and gets dispatched by another villain before the end even happens.
Yeah.
It's just that's the villain. If you're going to put him in it, like, he needs to be in it. He needs to be part of what's going on.
Yeah, or there needs to be a better reason why he's not the central focus. You know, he's maybe pulling the strings and he's having his guy, one of his lieutenants, do something, and that's the real villain of this movie. But, you know, that Joker's in the background. Like, I could see a movie that had the Joker in it briefly and he wasn't this main villain or something like that, as long as it wasn't, like, because he just got to be someone else's bitch.
Right. Yeah, it's just a waste. Like, they could have made up a character or used someone else from that mythos to fill that role. It didn't have to be Shredder.
Right. Because we got Shredder in the last movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Shredder in the last movie. They did a better job with him as far as, like, him feeling a little bit more like Shredder, a neutered Shredder, but still, he felt more like it than in the last one, where it was just very tacked on feeling.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, okay. For me... the problem is with active listening and trying to, like, think about what you're saying is it left my brain like 5 times and it kept coming back. It's like, oh yeah, that's the thing I'm going to mention. As far as the worst thing for me, I'd have to go with... I mean, the convenient stuff, geez Louise, what is the worst thing for me? I don't know why my mind's going blank right now. It's full of all the bad.
Yeah, because there's so much shit to sift through that it's hard to pick one thing to complain about with this movie.
Oh, I know. There we go. I knew if I gave myself a second, it would come back. It was the fact that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles did not feel like the star of this movie so much of the time.
Yeah.
There was so much time focused on the humans in it. And even with that being said, I don't feel like they did a good job of, like, developing their characters or introducing them well. So, like, let's take Casey Jones, for example. Great character. I loved him in the original, like, TV show. I loved him back in the old movies.
Yeah.
The live-action movies. Great character. But the way they introduced him and his motivations and, like, him getting suspended, all these other things, I was just like, this feels so contrived.
Yep. And honestly, one of the things that had gotten me a little bit more hopeful with the movie was someone like Stephen Amell playing Casey Jones. Because, one, he's not some super huge actor. Like, I've only ever seen him in Arrow, and he does fine in that. But I was like, okay, I could see him as being Casey Jones. And I think he did exactly what they gave him to do. Like, there was a terrible line whenever he's getting suspended where he's like, you know, you can't do this to me. I'm going to be a detective one day.
Yeah.
Like, why do you need to bring that up? Like, that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, and that wasn't the only time he brought up that little line.
Yeah, it's like...
My dream of being a detective. It's like, is this you really trying to flesh out his character by just having his motivation be, I want to be a detective?
You just sound like a kid.
It's
who's
so
like,
dumb.
I'm going to be a firefighter when I grow up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So they spend all this time, you know, with what's her name?
No, not April O'Neil.
Yeah, the girl that's
Megan Fox.
Supposed to be April O'Neil. All this time focusing on her, and of course the opening scene or near opening scene where she's, you know, oh, I've got to go down here, so I'm gonna magically lose my pants.
Oh my god, where'd her pants go?
It's like, you know, I saw her put the skirt on, but where did those pants go? It's the magic pants. I would like those pants. But like, so she goes through this wardrobe change just to, like, kind of dress up slutty because, oh look, there's slutty girls down there taking pictures with random people. I certainly hope that guy walks close enough to them that I can do this. I'm gonna take a picture of you and finish my download.
Yeah, and I hope none of those girls don't notice that I'm not a part
one of
the
their
group.
friends.
Yeah,
You know?
There's only like 10 of them. If I was hanging out with 10 other friends, I think I would know if some guy walked up and I'm like, I don't know you.
Hey, wait a minute, you're not one of us sluts, you're a different slut. So
she's the one that's sleeping with who's in charge of this movie.
Womp womp. But so yeah, like that whole scene and then like her getting away, I was just half expecting it to be like, oh look, she got this data and the Foot Clan's about to show up and like take her hostage or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But nope, she just gets the data and that's it. And like, oh, I hit this watch you gave me. Oh, convenient that you have a watch that somehow is a magical hacking device also.
Yeah.
I just like the whole every single scene it felt like had something like that in it.
Newsflash, April, it's not that easy to hack that kind of stuff. Just go ask the FBI.
Yeah, no, it was. Oh, and then it after it actually does breach his security and get downloaded, it's deleting itself for some reason.
Yeah, the convenience of it all.
Everything. It's just, I only got just enough information for us to go to the next plot point.
Luckily, I saw exactly what I needed to see, but you don't have to worry about that. Just trust that I saw the right part.
Oh my gosh. And how are they the only ones putting together these pieces that, is Baxter, right? The doctor? Baxter Stockman?
Baxter Stockman, yeah.
Yeah. So they're the only ones putting together. Baxter Stockman is somehow connected and aiding and abetting freaking Shredder.
Because they never did
But
explain,
there's also
why.
other scientists in the room that are helping him also. If you didn't notice, there was at least one more scientist that I saw in the background. I'm like, so this guy's also cool with the end of the
And how did
world?
he start working for Shredder if Shredder's been in prison? They become pen pals?
Yeah, or wasn't introduced in the previous movie where, maybe he would have had. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
there's so many plot holes in this movie. It's like impossible. We're gonna jump out of the plane onto the other plane, and literally get hit by a plane and be fine. Granted, this was something I heard someone talking about somewhere, I think, before I went and saw this movie.
Someone, sometime, somewhere.
I don't remember. It was probably on YouTube. But someone was talking about how, Casey Jones originally could actually hold his own somewhat against the Turtles. Like, he fought Raphael.
Yeah.
And held his own. There's no way the new Casey Jones could hold his own against these superhuman turtles. Like, these guys are ridiculous. Superhuman, superhero type strength and moves and all that stuff.
They're also 7 to 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Mikey's the shortest one, and even he is a head and a half above everyone else.
Yeah, I just that whole direction that they went with them is ridiculous. I also feel like they rehashed some of the things from the first movie with, we have this scene with them going down the side of the hill in the snow in the first one, and now they have the scene in the jungle with them going through the rapids. They felt very, very similar.
Yep.
As far as the scene.
I think we saw that in the trailer. As soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, that's the down the hill snow thing. Mm-hmm. Except this time they're just in water and it's a boat or something.
Yeah, it's still some form of liquid.
Yeah.
Or still some form of water.
Next is going to be a gas thing.
Yeah, it's going down a steam tube.
Steam tube.
Oh,
look there. Better writing than that entire movie. Good job, Chad.
Yeah. Well, it even be from the very first scene, because now I remember what the first scene was. They were up on the side of the building, right?
Yeah.
I was like, what are they doing up there? Is this somehow a strategic point that they're coming from? Or are they just borrowing this from a Batman trope of I got to protect the city. I'm going to be up on the side of this building.
Yeah.
I thought they traveled through the sewers to get places.
I thought about that when we were watching it. I was like, why are they on a skyscraper? The whole point of the Turtles is to come up from the sewers, do their thing, and then disappear. They can't do that if they're coming from the sky.
Yeah. I just... that right there told me. And then I was as they're going down, and Mikey has this freaking jet skateboard.
Yeah.
That's clearly... Actually, I'm going to save that point. And I feel like at the very least, if none of the rest of them are, he is destroying property as he's going down, because he's riding on the side of the deals, and it looks like he's actually causing damage to the buildings.
So I'm watching, and I don't understand how they are sliding laterally across a building, and then they get on the street or something and they're sliding
because they're ninjas. and also how biologically are they pulling themselves into their shells? You remember do the thing. And he's like, I don't want to do the thing, and Raphael pulls everything in. They did it a couple times in the movie where they go inside the shells. I'm like, how is that even I understand how it happens with a regular turtle, they're built to do that, but with regular human arms that doesn't work.
I can forgive that one. I'll give you a pass on that one.
Well, you're right. It is one of the lesser sins. Because I'm already hating on this movie. I'm just this is all stupid.
Yeah. So here's the bad thing. You could, and again, I talked about this earlier, you could easily make this a watchable movie. So even from the plot point all by itself, beginning up through Shredder getting sprung from prison, fine. All that's fine. That plot makes sense. Shredder's going to get broken out by the Foot Clan. Okay, great. He ends up taking Bebop and Rocksteady with him when he escapes. All right, cool. He gets sucked into another dimension. Oh, wow, that's a twist. I didn't see that coming. And then maybe he shows up to Kraang.
Unless you watch the trailers where they revealed that it was going to be freaking Kraang.
Oh, yeah. Again.
Anyway.
Yeah. But, I mean, he could have shown up to Kraang, and Kraang could have been like, hey, I've been watching Earth, and I've seen you, which is kind of what he did. But, hey, let me show you this stuff to entice you to want to help me because I need your buy-in. Like,
yeah.
I'm not...
And not make jokes about my tentacle juice on your face.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like, be a more serious villain and be like, hey, I need you. Let's be partners. I don't want you to just be my lackey, and I don't expect you to just go do whatever I tell you to do. And then come back and then having the whole, well, these 3 items are spread out amongst the earth, except 2 of them are in New York City and 1 of them's in the Amazon.
Yeah. Well, so
random.
Maybe I'll take a moment to make the point I said I'd save for later right now. I feel like this entire thing, and this is fine, was very much targeted towards a much younger audience.
Yeah.
Which I understand. When I fell in love with the Turtles, when I was a child, that's when that all happened. The thing is I was hoping for at least a bit of a payoff for the older crowd that did love them.
Sex scene?
No. Let's see. Yeah, I'll put something up right here as to why no. But so, like, I was hoping for some kind of a payoff, a nod to the fact that they know that they're going to have an older crowd that are coming to see this. Sure, there'll be kids there, and we don't need it to be Game of Thrones lopping heads off and cussing and fucking, right? It's like, but at least making it like the Avengers movies. Those still appeal to kids. Kids absolutely love that stuff, but they still have a little bit more of a plot to them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so you see in that scene right there where he pulls up, he's like, here are the 3 objectives for the next level of the video game. It's like, this was all marketed towards selling toys and selling a video game or 5 as a result of it. And it's like, because it's very much what it felt like. It was a very simple plot that, you go from A to B to C. We're going to follow these things.
And there's not a larger, like, overarching plot. Like you said, everything is very linear in order to get to there, you start with this plot point, and then this happens to get you to there. Well, then now you've got something else, and then maybe it's a MacGuffin to get you to the next plot point.
And then we're gonna go back. We're gonna know that we have these things to do and something to go find or whatever. We're gonna go back to our underground lair and wait for the portal to open before we do anything. Oh, it seems like everything's shaking. Oh, look, the portal's opening. Let's go and do something about it.
Yeah, why were they just chilling?
Exactly.
I have another problem.
There's so many.
Be here all night, folks. So, what's the actress name? Laura Linney or something like that. I forget. The police captain, chief lady. So she goes.
I think she was the head of the detectives. Thus why he was saying, "I'm a detective."
I want to be one. So she goes from like running into them in the police station and like completely hating them the entire movie, and then at the very end being like, but people will be okay with your existence. And it's like, you weren't, lady.
Listen, they mentioned that their mother's name was the exact same name as hers.
Punch her in the face.
That was a Batman reference, everybody.
Oh, God.
Sorry, I just think it's a trend in movies nowadays to have really convenient automatic changes of opinions about somebody. Now they're besties.
Yes, now they're besties. Yeah, that was a problem.
I'm pretty sure your head almost exploded just now because I made a link between the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Batman v Superman.
Oh, God. Somehow, currently on Rotten Tomatoes, this does have a higher rating than Batman v Superman. Which,
oh my goodness!
Here's the deal: even if you had problems with that movie, I mean, I'll give them to you. I mean, for most people who had the problems with them, most of them made sense. Some people are just being overly critical.
Sure.
I don't see how in the world they even come close to one another.
Right.
So speaking of ratings,
yeah. So let's get to that, and we'll probably wrap this up because we could probably bitch about this movie all night.
Yeah.
Why don't you start?
I'll go first. For me, I'm going 2 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We're close.
Yeah, so 2 out of 10. This is the worst movie I've seen in a theater in a long time. Fantastic Four used to hold that title, but it's being knocked out. And it is now...
Because that was a 4, right? 4 out of 10? Or did you give 3?
3 or 4 out of 10, somewhere in that range. But yeah, Turtles, much worse. Like, Fantastic Four is one of those movies where, like, I got out and I had problems with it, and I just had, like, this bad feeling. But Turtles, like, we saw each other. It's constant, like, you and I looking at each other and rolling our eyes. Like,
and being befuddled by the row of people in their 20s in front of us that were, like, laughing. I was like, are these people high?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the people in front of us were high, because that's the only way I can justify their reactions.
And even then, it's like, really, come on, what are you on?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, those few things that I tried to fight to think about what I liked about this movie, smothered by the negatives and like the horribleness of it. Like I said, there's not really anything salvageable, other than I do think you could take the cast. Even Megan Fox, if it's a take it or leave it type thing, I still will say that I think you can take the cast.
You just don't need to feature her so much.
Right, that's fine. Give it to a great writer and a great director, and let them have at it. And I think you can change a lot, and the movie will work really, really well.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like, we have the technology, and I know
have the technology.
And I know that we have the talent out there to take a property like this and do something amazing with it. We've seen it over and over with things that we love.
Yeah.
Like, look at the new Star Trek series. Look at the new Star Wars series. Look at what they're doing in the MCU. I mean, they're doing amazing things with stuff that has been treated like this in the past.
Yeah.
And come out terribly. So... we know Hollywood. We know you can do this. Like,
you can do it.
Just stop doing what you did with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the last 2 films, and this one's worse than the first one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
worse than the first one.
The first one was bad. This one was worse.
Yeah, I think and you talk about the Marvel films, maybe think about this. So you look at like the precursors to those things, which would be like the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends cartoon and things like that. So you take something like that and you make it evolve with the fan base. You know, you're kids while you're watching that, but now you're an adult. So how do you make it grow up and, you know, follow that? And luckily, comics do that really well. But for this media, how do you do that? Well, so for Ninja Turtles, it's like they visually grew it up, but they didn't evolve the jokes and they didn't evolve the plot devices or the methods through which the plot expands, which in this case it really doesn't.
It's not even a matter of growing it up. They dumbed it down further, because I think that the original live-action Ninja Turtles movies were more complex than this.
I guess I'm thinking more about the cartoons.
Sure.
But yeah, I agree. There is more complexity to the 90s live-action than this.
Golly Moses. Okay, so as far as a rating for me, I'm going to go 1 notch higher than you.
Oh.
3 out of 10. And the main thing for me is the lowest rating I think I've given something so far.
I think you're at a 4 with Fantastic Four.
Was 4 for Fantastic Four, and I know this was worse than Fantastic Four.
Four,
I still want to leave 2 slots lower for some horse shit movie that we're probably going to see at least one of this year later. We'll see where Ghostbusters ranks with this.
The bad thing is this one was so bad that it's almost made me a little more hopeful for other movies. That I think that
They've
maybe
set the bar really low.
Yeah, like oh my god! I don't expect Ghostbusters to be good. Just want to throw that out there.
Yep.
But there are very few things I think they could do to make it be worse than this movie.
Yeah. I have faith in them.
I have no problem being proven wrong. Feel free to do so if that's your prerogative.
I would love to be proved wrong that they make it great. I would love to go to the theater and be just amazed by the new Ghostbusters.
How awesome would that be? Everybody has been shitting all over that thing.
And we leave just joyous.
Like, oh my god, when's another one coming? Remake all the Ghostbusters.
It's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
But it would be awesome if that were to be our experience later. Because, like, I'm looking forward to a lot of things later on in this year. There's not too many more that I'm like, ew, that's going to suck. I felt that way about this. I feel that way about Ghostbusters.
How do you feel about monster trucks?
Oh, my God. So the trailers. We started hating on this movie during the trailers because other than one trailer, all of them were like, oh, my God, if these are the movies that they're showing before this is going to be a shit movie.
It was obvious. Even
monster trucks.
Yeah, even the studio did not have faith in this because they're putting like their B list of trailers in front of it.
Yeah. What was the one that was good?
Star Trek.
Oh yeah, the new Star Trek.
Yeah, so it had the new Star Trek trailer, which was good. And then the second best trailer was probably Ghostbusters. So I mean, which is saying something.
Which is terrible.
It wasn't the first trailer. It was the one that was.
The second trailer is
terrible.
Better. The second trailer is better than the first one they put out, but it's still the movie looks horrible.
But yeah, so they did not set this thing up for success. It's just, and it's sad.
Yeah, better trailers would not have saved this movie.
Oh, no, it wouldn't have saved it. But
I was like, look at all those amazing movies I'd rather see than this piece of shit.
It's like getting an appetizer that's already like going downhill.
Right.
So.
Anyway.
Yeah. So.
Well, there you go.
It's a shame because the Turtles are are a part of our childhood.
Yeah. Part of my childhood.
Part of my
Reruns
childhood.
were part of your childhood.
It was on in the 90s.
I'm just joking.
God, I hate you so much.
Sure, you're young.
Anyways,
it's a joke here.
But it was part of our childhood, and it sucks to see something that you like drugged through the mud like this, and just almost half-assed. It's like they put out this movie because they could. They didn't stop to think about whether they should.
Well, and like I sent you a picture earlier today from, I think I was in Walmart. And it was, an end cap with all of these toys for the Ninja Turtles. I'm like, this is what it's out there for. And kids will like this. Because if you go back and you watch, and maybe if I went back right now and watched the original live-action Ninja Turtles movie, I'd be like, oh, God, this really did suck.
Yeah.
But kids will like this movie. I bet you people with kids out there, if you go and went and saw this with your kids, they'd probably really like it because it's very sophomoric humor. It's very simple and easy to follow. They spoon feed you all the plot points. There's no following trains of thought to how they come to a conclusion. It's just it's a battle station that's coming through. How do you know that's a battle station? All you see are these little parts, and Donatello magically hacks into this advanced alien technology and automatically knows what is going on and knows the name of the guy in charge of it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the whole thing was so, like, spoon-fed. I think kids would probably like it because it's not that complicated or hard to follow.
Right.
To a certain point. You get to a certain age of kid, and they're probably going to be rolling their eyes, I don't know where that cutoff point is, but, like, man, such a bad movie.
Yeah. Wow. That was negative.
Yep. We need to cleanse our palate with, like, go watch Game of Thrones again from this week or something.
Oh, man.
Anyway, well, thank you all for joining us.
Yeah.
And if you actually went and saw the movie before you listened to this, God bless you for
joining our wallowing. If you saw it, go down to the comments. If you're on YouTube there, hop on down to Comment Town and put some stuff down there. Let us know if you thought it was as bad as we thought it was. If you don't think it was as bad as we thought it did, then you can stop listening to our podcast.
No, don't listen to it. Actually, I would love to hear some points of dissension. I would love to hear someone defend this movie and maybe give me a fresh perspective on it, because I actually like it when we disagree. And we
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we just agree that this movie sucked.
Yeah.
But I would love to have a civil discourse about this movie with someone. So although that never happens on the internet, comments on YouTube, comments on SoundCloud, or on our Facebook page. If you want to go there and chat with us, I would love that. I would love to hear someone say why this movie was better than a 3 or a 2 out of 10.
Yep.
So, on that note, see you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
This has been Chad and Wes Ruin a Movie. Don't forget you can email us at chadandwes@gmail.com or visit our website at chadandwes.com. Follow us on SoundCloud and subscribe on iTunes if you like. You can also leave us a review. See you next time.